This year, of course, from Aston Martin to this Ford GT, the Mark VDS Run Ford, so it's home territory for the team. Fred will be out to try and make up for that mistake in qualifying, and he's doing a fine job here.
It's this part of the circuit where he thinks, or I think he's got maybe a slight advantage. Doesn't appear so from that onboard camera, but down the pit straight into turn one, the Ford does run down the Corvette, but round the rest of the circuit, everything looks right now to be pretty even, Stevens.
Changes up to fourth just as he comes. Corvette looks very stable. You're looking from the Corvette. Nice clear road in front of you here.
Lovely, lovely to have a clear road. The only thing is you don't want too much distraction going on behind you. What you can do, of course, is just turn that mirror in the car, turn it away from anything that's so your mind is clear, not cluttered, feeling the pressure from a very, very feisty Machiavelli behind in this Ford.
Plunging down through
in the curve in the middle of turn 9, the Villeneuve chicane. He may actually find himself being penalised. The drivers have been warned not to shortcut the track, and in particular that area of the circuit.
We're on board with the third place cars. You've got the onboards on these top three cars. Fascinating to watch the differences. This is the Lamborghini, the big V12 mid-engine car. Marcus Winkelhoff still getting up to speed in this car. He's only done the one event at Abu Dhabi, got a good result from it. Up ahead of him is that V8 powered mid-engine Ford, and then up ahead of all of them is the V8 front engine, fourth to first, as we saw the Hexus Aston Martin do last time.
Indeed, it's a different pit lane, it's a much narrower, although the cars are much better spaced out, ironically, because there's the length of the pit lane has been more segmented to give people ease of coming in and coming out. Let's hope we don't see an incident or replay of what we saw in Abu Dhabi, where Machiavelli and it was Riccardo Zonta in the Nissan got together, and that was adjudged to be really Machiavelli at fault. So I think the drivers now will not repeat what telephoto lens tends to make everybody look more compacted, because when you come onto the start-finish straight, the gap in Argentina when they had that victory, the Hexus team. So putting pressure yet again. The trouble is, you saw when the Ford came into the pits and stopped the heat of the brakes, the rear disc brake, those are carbon fibre brakes, and it caught fire. Imagine the temperature that are on the brakes of these cars. Okay, they're getting the benefit of some cooling, but they're not very far short of the temperature of the ones that caught fire.
No, that's right. While they're still going, it's probably a good thing, but coming in hot like that, you see the difference. Great onboard shot this as you wind your way through the wooded area of this Zolder.
He knows he's capable of doing. Watch again, now the back end stepped out. That's what happened. Car goes off the track onto the gravel. Thomas Enger drives past, says, "Thank you very much, Marcus. Easy peasy, and I'll take that from you any day of the week." There's the back end losing control, losing just under acceleration out of turn 1. Just
as we've seen on this section of circuit, can he pick up the slipstream and go for it? Has a look down the inside. He's not really going for it though. He's still just keeping the pressure on young Katzberg.
But he did the right thing.
Machiavelli wants to try and be in front by the time they hand over.
I think I think that Mike Hazeman should be getting himself ready, because it isn't that long, and I wonder who will be the first of these two lead cars to dive into the pits as the Ford again closes up under braking, again using a lot of the curb on the inside. Need to be careful that you don't go beyond what the marshals, the stewards, think is acceptable.
Yeah, looking okay for the moment, and Katzberg doing a fine job of just doing enough to stay in front of this Ford at the moment as we come up to that same corner, the top corner at the top of the straight, back of the end of the circuit if you like, but a bit of work still from Machiavelli to keep the car under control.
The Corvette right now looks the easier of the two cars.
Conscious of keeping this car here in one piece, you ride back on board with the V8 powered Ford GT, and you've got to wonder how the tyre wear is affecting these two cars. They'll get a new set of boots at the pit stop, so they're sort of getting towards the end of their time, the tyres, but both cars seem to be handling, as you say. If anything, it's Machiavelli who's been struggling with oversteer, so he does tuck in behind. Still no mistakes from Katzberg. Big powerful cars these, a little bit too much gas too soon in the corner, the back end will step out, but we haven't seen Katzberg make any mistakes like that so far, and they're going to
be aware that I'm under pressure every corner of this lap.
So up through the gears goes Machiavelli from first right up at the end of absolutely stunning cars these, but when these guys are behind the wheel they race them as hard as anything, and Machiavelli, the 30-year-old Frenchman who impressed us on several occasions, the Brazilian car Bernoldi, and the two leaders have stayed out. Now that is a surprise, as you say, but the Corvette may be trying to sort of trying to stop the Ford taking the advantage. Here comes Makovicky. Oh, he's on the inside. That was lovely. And they'll be taking over that car. Away it goes. And possible change here between the Corvette and the Aston. He's done it down the inside into the chicane. And Christian Hohenadel gets past that call. Number 38 car, Marcus Winkelhock, who got that. Let's just take a look on board then with Makovicky. Surely he's going to be coming in this lap, because otherwise, if they... Oh, he gets a bit of oversteer there. Big slide as those rear tyres are saying, I've done enough work. Let's get in and change, because we want some new tyres on this car. Well, it could be now. Watch him lead in the first section of the race. Now they find themselves down in 7th, and it is all change. And once again, the Hexis is now leading in the number 4 Aston Martin. You're on board with Max Martin's just taken over from Makovicky, but it is not good news from their point of view. Gains a place, and Martin's going to lose another place. And Ricardo Zonta, it's all gone wrong for the Ford.
Whereas the Ford was just on its outlap.
On board with Jamie Campbell-Walter here in the number 21 Nissan. Top Nissan in the race now after problems. So, well, obviously Westbrook got caught out in the incident at the first corner, and he and Dunbreck are now sitting and watching this. So Jamie Campbell-Walter sharing the car with David Bradford. They're currently running 6th, but still close to the back of that Lamborghini of Carl Wendlinger. And Wendlinger still sort of finding his feet with the Lambo, because it's only the second event he's contested in. Jamie Campbell-Walter to get past, and you're now on board with Carl Wendlinger in the car just ahead.
You know, there's a sort of perverse pleasure being the hunter, and sometimes when you're the hunted, you always feel slightly like, am I going to watch my mirror, or am I going to ignore it? I always enjoy the hunting, because you're inside. If you haven't got your car alongside, you've got to find a way to get out of the way of the car you're trying to pass.
On board with Mark Basseng, we saw Marcus Winkelhock in the car earlier when he made that little error which lost him 3rd place, but they've got it back through the pit stops, and now definitely attacking for 2nd.
Is that a sat-nav set on the dash just above the 2 I don't know. I mean,
it's a rear view mirror, in fact, so that's how he gets his view of what's behind.
I prefer sat-nav myself.
So Mark Basseng, who is, remember, team manager for this team, is a young team, because it was only set up year before last specifically for the GT1 World Championship, and Mark was asked by René Munich to actually run the team. He never really thought of running a team in the past. He's always been a professional driver, but he took the option.
Around here, I can't imagine doing, well, they're doing a 1-hour race. I mean, it is such a busy little racetrack. You've got no time to catch your breath.
Racing car, he won a competition, in fact, got selected as a final group to come here to Zolder, and then he was one of 2 drivers who
race for the main race. So I hope that he stays calm. I think P3 is better than nothing.
Thank you.
So let's see what happens. Will he stay calm, or will he go on the attack? Mark Basseng on board with him still in 3rd place.
And again, I suspect that each of the 3 drivers behind the lead car are just sort of drawing breath, trying to put themselves into a position to once again pick up the momentum, to try and take them, carry them forward, to get close enough to the car that they were following, and hopefully somewhere around the track.
Now have it all his own way. Look again, these guys are ganging up on him.
Yeah, a GT1 car is much more of what I would describe as a pure racing car. Once again, Mark Basseng in 3rd place, Mike Hazeman's in 2nd place, and if there is a problem with the Aston Martin, I've no doubt that somebody in that those 2 respective teams will have been listening to the broadcast and heard that maybe Aston are suffering a little bit of tyre wear or tyre degradation, and that just will give impetus to the following 2 cars.
Yeah, and I tell you, Mark Basseng in 3rd is very close to the back of that Corvette as they pass our commentary position. You can see that Basseng might have a little bit go into turn 2. Is he close enough here? You can sometimes dive down the inside, but he's got, oh, it's tight, the Corvette's wide. Hazeman gives him room, he's trying to sneak on the inside. Surely he's done it.
Yes,
Mark
he did.
Basseng is in 2nd.
Well,
Martin in the Ford that lost so much time on the pit stops will have moved up to 6th, but look at this battle now for
Aston Martin has to go defensive down the inside. It's not the quickest entry to the corner, but it's the way of defending the corner. But watch for the Lamborghini. It was so strong here 1 lap ago with the Corvette. Can he dive down the inside? He has. He's alongside.
He's there, I think, but is it enough? No, it's not. And the Aston Martin is just able to squeak in front again. Oh, and